Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Let's take it over to you first, General. Several U.S. military bases across Europe on heightened state of alert, fears of a terror attack. What do you make of this, General?
Yeah, Liz, first of all, thanks for having me tonight. Look, this is not unusual. When you look at what's happening in the region, you've got two wars in the middle, one in the Middle East, one actually happening in Ukraine and Russia. You've got the start of the Paris Olympics in just a couple of weeks. There's a lot of things happening. It's a target-rich environment. And what they did is they put level Charlie, which means that an attack is likely, instead of going to Delta, which is the highest one, means that attack is imminent. But this is the highest rating they've had in 10 years. And when you look at the installations throughout Europe, you know, the host country, be it the Germans, be it the French, be it the Italians, they really have principled security requirements to protect those installations. Once you get onto the installations, it's U.S. protection. But it's a really target-rich environment. And you see ISIS-K, what they did just recently in Russia. Yeah. So I think the Americans should be very, very concerned about it. I think they're ready for it. And oh, by the way, this isn't unusual. When I was stationed years ago, we had the Baader-Meinhof gang. We had the Red Army faction. This is just a really unsettled area. It's a really unsettled time. Yeah. And it really puts a premium on our decision-making back here in the United States and our readiness as well.
You know, we're going to move on to this as well. Thank you for that, General. Let's listen to reporters pushing back on President Biden falsely claiming at the CNN debate no U.S. troops died on his watch when 16 died, 13 in the botched exit out of Afghanistan, 3 at Jordan's border with Syria. Take a listen to this.
3 U.S. troops died in Jordan this year and more in Afghanistan in 2021. How can the president say none have died during his administration?
You know, I refer you to the campaign about specifics about fact-checking.
Okay, you need fact-checking? You're going to refer to the campaign? Congressman, this press secretary punting on this. Gold Star families were devastated, outraged that he falsely made this claim. They say Biden never called them. So Biden doesn't fire anybody over Afghanistan, but he wants to fire people because he has dementia, allegedly, and made the decision to do a debate anyway. Ben Shapiro is pointing that out.
Yeah, Elizabeth, thanks so much for having me on. Thanks, General Kellogg, for your service. Elizabeth, service members all around the world know that we all fall short of the grace of God. We all make mistakes. This is an egregious mistake, but to just kind of throw it off to somebody else and say, well, you talk to the campaign about it. The facts are the facts. American service members have lost their lives because of this president's decision-making and poor judgment. Just own it. But my goodness, at least be remorseful for it. There are families without their loved ones who died in uniform, and to act like it didn't occur and you can just send it to somebody else like it didn't happen. It's outrageous. It's insult upon injury. I can't imagine a president ever, especially, I can't imagine a president ever doing or saying such a thing, or anybody on behalf of the president, especially when he's out there acting as though he's been the strongest president ever, most in support of military and military families. It is unbelievable.
So we've also got this. Thank you for that, Congressman. This story from the Wall Street Journal that President Biden was essentially unable to function at the G7 meeting. He was the only leader to not go to their off-script meeting with each other. Plus, at the EU-U.S. summit in D.C., Antony Blinken had to help Biden read his own talking points. The Financial Times reported Biden ended a meeting with an EU leader earlier this year, General, with the same anecdote he started the meeting with. But when they heard Biden repeat himself, quote, everyone's heart sank. General, your reaction to this?
Yeah, you know, there's this syndrome called the sundown syndrome, when people have diminished capacity intellectually as they get older in life, and you're kind of seeing this right now. And it should be very concerning to Americans that this is happening to the most powerful man in the world, the President of the United States, because that means he's got less decision-making ability as you go deeper into the night. And oh, by the way, when something that happens in the world that's bad, it generally happens around 3 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't happen during normal waking hours. And that's happened to me when I was in the national security team, when on numerous times we had to wake up the president and the vice president, say, Mr. President or Mr. Vice President, this is what's happening. We need some quick decisions, and that worked.
But what the general is saying,
I think President Trump showed that.
But Congressman, the reports are coming out, the president only works from 10 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, but the world doesn't stop all the other times. And as the general said, often the bad things happen when you're fast asleep, and you know the rest of the world isn't necessarily on Washington D.C. time. One of those diplomats called what's happening to the President of the United States an unmitigated disaster. Liz, when we're seeing it, our adversaries are seeing it. That weakness is provocative. It's making our country less safe. And I think it also feeds into the fact that the military bases overseas have increased their awareness status. People don't feel safe around the world, and our allies don't feel safe knowing that this president has got these problems and is not prepared for the mission at hand.
Congressman Scott Perry, General Keith Kellogg, thanks for joining us tonight. That was a great discussion. We appreciate you very much.